Hello and welcome to Sound and Vision, aka 2020 Vision, aka the best podcast in the world, aka the podcast with the best hosts in the world. Anyway, it's Sound and Vision, and I am your host, as always, Ian James, and again I am joined by the brilliant, beautiful, and so say in quotes, kind of ready, Hope Wade.
Hello, I'm always ready.
And today we are taking a look at movie questions by request, and that is the title of this episode 25.
Yeah.
Is that a fair? That's a fair.
I'll go with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Movie questions by request.
By request.
Now,
From people in our lovely group that we have, a group of friends.
Yeah, in the Facebook group.
In the Facebook
We
group.
should have went wider with this, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I know. I should have posted on Instagram. Sorry, people. But you know what?
Next
come
time.
join. Yeah, come join the group because that's where we post all of our questions. I guess
That's what we're going to do for now. We'll have 25 episodes, and then we'll ask a friend, or ask someone in the group, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Every 25 episodes, we'll ask a question.
Okay. Is that what we're doing?
I think so. Yes, if we make it through another 25 episodes.
Oh, we will.
Okay. I like your faith. Less kind of ready, more ready now. So yeah, this is episode 25. And these are the questions. So we basically opened up a page requesting people to ask us anything they want movie related.
Yeah, I just want to point out, people need to come join our page some more, on Facebook. We're at Sound and Vision, and we have our separate one, the 2020 Vision and Nightmare Cinema.
Yeah.
So we have 3 good pages. Nightmare Cinema is mostly horror movies.
Which, funnily enough, is a lot of these questions that people know as well.
I know, because we are very into that genre the most, I think.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I love everything, though, so that's why we did Sound and Vision.
That was what we wanted to do, wasn't it? I mean, in an easy, ideal world, we could have just answered horror movie questions all day, or talked about horror movies in general. But like you said,
I do love all movies.
Love too much, and wanted to do a little bit of everything, so we're trying to touch a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And we did a music one recently, the last episode, wasn't it? Which we talked about Joy Division and New Order, which seemed to do pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's inspiring.
Yeah.
To do another.
I wish we could play the music. That's my next goal, is to try and get that on there, but,
Yeah, but it's kind of inspiring to keep going with that now.
Yeah. Yeah, because we love music. Like, we both connected on... we connected on horror movies and music.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Me
for sure.
and you.
Yeah.
So, which we met, online.
Yeah.
In the galaxy far, far away.
And we could also talk about our shared love of food, but that would be really boring.
Yeah, I don't think that would fit in the group. Although food is a popular subject on any outlet. If you post a picture of food, people are all on it because they want it.
So maybe if the viewing or listening figures drop down, we might start calling this Sound and Vision and Taste.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right, let's get down to the questions then. What I'll do is I'll read out the 10 questions that we've picked.
Okay.
So for the next hour and hour only, we're going to answer these 10 questions the best we can.
Okay.
And simply I'll read out the question and then you give me the answer and then I'll follow it up by giving my answer.
Okay.
And that is the formula that we're going to take.
Oh, well, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, just
last minute here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Everything's last minute.
I know.
And of course the listeners can tell.
That's how magic happens.
What, the last minute?
Yeah.
That's really worrying. Well, yeah, sometimes. Always best to pull out. Okay, we'll start with the first question then. This is from one of my oldest and best friends, Stewie Stevenson.
Ah, Stewie.
Yeah, exactly. Love him. And he just simply asks, although we did originally ask you what my top 5 Will Smith movies are, but I couldn't. that just gave me a migraine. So
do you even have any?
No, I could probably think of one.
What's that one?
Maybe.
We watched his film debut, that one movie with the kids.
Where the Day Takes You.
Yeah.
That's probably the film we'd pick.
Yeah.
Just because he's in it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and he does.
And everyone else is great.
Yeah.
Or near enough great. Okay, so Stuart's question then is, what film would you like to see remade and why, if you had to remake them, if a movie remake? Because I simply say that because I know you share the same opinion as me, where really remakes are not and not a given.
I struggle with this question. This is the one question that I struggle with because I don't even like remakes, and I couldn't imagine anything being remade. And even like I know there's a couple that we've watched recently, and I'm like, oh, they could have been a little bit better, and I'm just drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, because we kind of briefly we picked the questions that we were going to do.
Yep.
And we very, very briefly, I must add, if anyone's listening, very briefly went through the questions and had a little think about it. And this one stressed Hope out.
The most.
Hope got in the bath with good intentions to relax and think it over. And by the time she came out, she resembled an old woman and the water was freezing cold. And she still didn't have an answer.
And I was angry.
And you still didn't have an answer.
I still don't have an answer. I just can't think of one because I just...
Can I just say as well, thank you, Stewie Stevenson, for giving me one of the most miserable evenings of my life, by the way.
You know what? You know what's going to happen with me? I'll think about it after the show. And I know there's one that we've watched recently, and I'm like, oh, that could have been better. I wish they would have done that a little bit differently. And you know what? I'm drawing a blank. So I guess I'll put my answer in the group if I ever think about it.
Well, I mean, Stewie now has the privilege of knowing he stumped you.
I know.
He beat you.
I know.
He beat you.
Oh, God, shut up. Nobody beats me.
I was going to say, I spent 2 years and I've got nowhere near beating you. Personally, for myself, to answer...
I'm not down yet.
You sure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You looked pretty down last night.
No, I'm thinking about it.
Okay. So you're going to pass on this one?
Don't look at me like that.
And this is why I said, kind of ready, Hope Wade.
I'm never ready. No, I can't think of one.
Oh, can I answer this question?
What about remake of a remake? They should have never did that shit Halloween 2018.
Oh, don't start off. Jesus.
Maybe if they would have done that better, that would have been nice.
Okay, well, to answer that question, because again, I struggle to think. It's not as though I can sit here and give you lists of movies to remake.
Yeah, give it to me. You wouldn't even tell me.
The answer to the question?
No.
Okay. We'll be back in 10, and it literally will be 10.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm lying, by the way. Okay, for myself then, if I have to just pick one movie to answer Stuart's question.
Yep.
And loads of people are going to hate me for this, and I know you're not going to think much of me for this, but I'm going to pick Highlander. Russell McCall's 1986 fantasy movie, yeah.
Why? That's such a good movie, and you cry at that song every time.
Yeah.
Every time it comes on a commercial, you cry.
I know. Shh.
How can you not love it? It's so sad.
Exactly. To live forever. No one
sad.
After listening to that.
Oh, it's such a good movie. I can't believe you.
Yeah, right, okay. My reasoning there for this, okay. As much as I like the 1986 cult movie,
okay.
I think it's a fun 80s movie. I grew up on it and all the rest of it. The sequels are absolutely appalling, but I'd like to see the first one remade only because I think the story is really, really good. And it interests me having this kind of immortal line of someone who can keep going forever, and then there can be only one, and all the rest of it. We should do a podcast on the Highlander, just so I keep doing these really lame impressions.
And you can cry when I play the little song.
And because everyone wants to see that. Probably most people are going to want to see me cry after I just picked the Highlander. No, just for the simple reason I think it's a really good story, and I think if made today, and it's nothing to do with effects and stuff. I just think. And it sounds really bad as well, but I would even drop the Queen soundtrack. I know loads of people love it because of that, right? No, just bear with me here.
It moves you.
I know, but just bear with me, right? I would do it deadly serious. I get someone like Christopher Nolan to direct it, because I think he'd be perfect at this, because of the time lapse and stuff. Fantastic. I wouldn't cast a Frenchman in the lead role as a Scotsman, and I love the fact as well. It's the one time that Sean Connery is allowed to be Scottish, and he's got to play an Egyptian. Do you know what I mean? There's so many little things that just don't quite work for me. Clancy Brown's a great villain in that.
Oh, now you're just nitpicking.
No, yeah, but I think it's such a good story. I'd like to see it made really seriously and highbrow and arty, and
okay,
which takes it completely away from the kind of film it is. So my answer for that question, and I could sit here all day, we haven't got the time, but is one film and I'd like to see remade, The Highlander, just because I think it could be better. There we go. Okay,
I'll take it. Do you got any others?
No. Okay, so question number 2.
Yes.
What sequel do you think is better than the first film? And this was given by Mark French, who's probably screaming. If he's listening to this now, which I hope he is, you'll be screaming at me for that Highlander answer, because he's a big fan. So you
everybody's screaming.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone.
Even
No,
your
I'm not sorry.
insides are screaming because you were so moved by that movie. So I don't get it.
Oh,
Like, why
completely.
you would want it remade.
I don't know. Okay, let's get to question 2. Okay, so
Okay.
what sequel do you think is better than the first film? Is there anything that jumps out at you this time?
Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. That one's a good one.
Yeah,
Because the first Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis.
which is it's a straight ahead slasher movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Made in the wake of Halloween.
Yeah.
Hence, hello, Jamie Lee Curtis turned up.
Yeah, it just fell a little short for me. I don't know why. It was all over the place. I just thought part 2 was so much better.
But I mean, it's sequel only in name, really, isn't it? Other than the setting of the school.
I know, because it's a little bit different.
Well, completely different, really.
Yeah,
Like I said, the only
actually,
links to all
yeah.
these films, and I think that's like 4 prom night movies now.
Yeah.
Is the school where it's set, and that was a marketing ply by the Canadian company that made it, so they could keep making, but using the prom night name, the brand name almost, to keep making these movies. And the second movie, Mary Lou, which you just picked, which I really enjoyed too. Is its own movie, isn't it? Again, it does focus on teenagers, like I said, it is set in that school, but it's a completely different story. It's more Carrie-esque. If anything, it's more of a riff on Carrie this time.
Yeah.
But that's not to sell it short. It's a very low budget movie. Michael Ironside's in it.
It's good.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I would agree. Because I mean,
kills
I don't
and
connect.
stuff.
I don't really connect the two. Like I'm sure you don't either.
No, I
But
don't.
in terms of having a part 2 or
Yeah.
a second part, I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
I
is
liked
that
it.
is that good your answer?
Yep, that's my choice.
Okay. Then for the sequel thing, because there's loads of really good sequels that I really, really like. Okay. And just off kind of the top of my head, really, thinking these 3 was like obviously The Godfather 2, Mad Max 2, Bride of Frankenstein, Dawn of the Dead. These are all follow-ups to the first film. The Empire Strikes Back. Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and that's like a 3rd part, but still a sequel. And you could, that would go as far as franchises as well. So I could even pick From Russia with Love for Bond, which I think is an improvement over the first one, Dr. No. But as much as I like all the films that I just listed, and I really do, most of them I don't think are better than the first film, even though they're very, very good follow-ups, and they're great examples of a follow-up. Magnum Force I could also pick. Rocky 2 I could also pick. I like them all, but they're not as good as the first movie. And the only one I can really... that I struggle with, and this is the only time, if anyone ever says to me, name a second movie that's better than the first one, the only time I ever really struggle to answer the question is Aliens. And I'm going to pick that.
Okay.
Because for me, I struggle to pick whether I prefer Alien, Ridley Scott's 79, or James Cameron's brilliant 1986 action epic, Aliens, which I really do. And it depends on what day it is. I kind of waver between the two.
Yeah.
So it's the only time I'll ever really be stuck to answer the question is if someone brings up Aliens, which is better. So my answer to Mark's question, for me personally, is Aliens.
Okay.
Okay, you happy with that?
I guess so. Yep, I'm happy. That's your choice.
Yeah.
It's not my choice. It's your choice.
I know. Take it. Accept it. Move on. Okay, next question.
Take it.
You already have. Question 3, we have from Stuart McKenna.
Oh, Stuart.
Yeah.
I like Stuart.
I know he's your little buddy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Anyway.
Isn't he a little Scottish man?
Yes.
I don't think he's little, but...
Well, I hope to God that you don't know. Okay. Name your favourite horror...
I meant in height.
Oh, okay. Yes, so did I. Of course. His question is, name your favourite horror document. This is the first of the horror questions we're going to kind of end up going into because people just know us too well. But his question is, what is your favourite horror documentary?
Yeah, well, we also have comedy in there somewhere, don't we?
Don't worry, it's gonna...
Horror documentary.
Yes. We share an answer on this as well, I think, so it'd be quite an easy one to answer.
Oh, The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Fear of God.
Yeah.
Mark Commode's documentary.
Brilliant. That freaked me even as much as the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Like watching the movie.
Yeah, the 1998 documentary by Mark Commode called Fear of God, which is, I know, is your answer for this question, and I will probably give the same answer on that because I feel the same way, just because I think it's really in-depth. Because he kind of interviewed everyone involved in the project. Yeah. Which was great. Principal cast members, people behind the scenes, and also filled out, everything you need to know really about that movie. I would just point people straight in that direction. So you go and see the documentary. Yeah. Because it's that good.
Yeah, it's very good. And like the strange happenings that was behind the scenes.
The curse.
The curse
of the Exorcist.
Of the Exorcist, which that is just, it freaks me even more. What's that movie that we watched not too long ago? Was it Lights Out? or something like that, about true story. Was it about a ghost in an apartment? And it's up in Nottingham, isn't it?
Oh no! Oh, I can't think. No, it's not When the Lights Go Out. Is it?
When the lights go out, something like that. But that documentary was a little. Didn't they do a little documentary about it?
Yeah, we just kind of accompanied it on the DVD, and that's terrible now because you've asked me a movie, and for the life of me, I can't think. I'm sure
I stumped you this time.
I'm pretty sure it's When the Lights Go Out, which is based on the monk, isn't it?
Yes.
The Pontefract monk. Yeah. The monk of I can't remember now.
And well, they say there was like a couple different ghosts. There was the monk, and then there was another. I thought there was another ghost that was haunting the apartment. But that was an interesting documentary.
The Black Monk of Pontefract.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get there in a minute.
It's good. I don't know what it's called, but it's something lights out, something like that. But it's very.
Was it When the Lights Go Out?
When the lights go out.
And the piece that you're talking about, which is, like I said, accompanies the movie, which is a low-budget English movie made a few years ago, based on this happening from the late 70s, early 80s, I forget now. But the film itself is not quite there, is it? But the accompanying documentary, which, you know, is the base of facts of that, is very, very interesting. And my cousin actually went there to the Eggs and stayed for the night.
Yeah.
Part of a paranormal activity group. And I even got an offer to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We should have went.
Yeah, we should have. The Exorcist in that one was really good. And then there's also
the Nightmare on Elm Street one's great.
I was going to say Never Sleep Again.
Yes.
That
10 hours? I think it's like some... Oh, not 10 hours. It's about 8 hours, though. Oh, no, it's a ridiculous amount of hours, isn't it? It's really long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one. And there was a... I think it was Camp Crystal Lake. There was a Friday...
Oh, the memoirs.
Yeah.
Camp Crystal Lake memoirs.
There was one they did a few years ago, wasn't it? On that?
Yeah, I seen bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, and it had, I think, Tom Savini and stuff was in it.
Yeah, Corey Feldman and stuff.
Yeah, that was really good.
So those are all good ones. Yeah, no, that's a good shout on the one. I feel really bad now we didn't research this properly and give someone the proper title. As soon as we get the real title, we'll put it up in the group.
Yeah,
because it is a good watch.
But I highly recommend The Exorcist. That was like my top favorite. I mean, I was watching it and it was just like watching the movie. It was freaking me out. Just... behind the scenes, just people talking about it freaks me out.
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay, so hopefully that answers Stuart's question, although I think we spent far too much of that question talking about length. Okay, so moving on to the next one.
You're very anal today.
Oh dear God, that hasn't helped. Length and anal. So the next question, which comes from Jason Reed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is top 5 comedy movies. Now, this is a little genre you enjoy.
I do.
Yeah.
I love comedies. Comedies and horror are great. And I hate when people say horror and comedy don't go together, because I like good comedy horror.
You do?
It's good. And it's funny because I don't think there is comedy horror in my list right now.
Because there's so many comedy films you love, though.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The horror ones are not going to get in there, are they?
Well, there's a ton, but...
So, how would you answer Jason Reed's question?
I would say The Jerk.
Oh, yes. Carl Reiner.
Is one of the top comedy movies ever.
Because
how can you not love it?
He hates the cans.
He hates the cans. He hates the cans. I love it. Yeah, it's just a great movie. Like, as every line in it is hilarious. And Steve Martin has just did a wonderful job in that movie. I like anything Steve Martin does.
Yeah, basically. Especially from that period as well.
Yeah. Anything. What is that movie he does?
All of Me.
All of
with
Me.
Lily Tomlin.
Yeah, that's funny. Even in the serious, like the Parenthood, he still acts a little jokey in that, and he's just good all in that period. Second, I would have to say Serial Mom.
John Waters. Any John Waters movie, Serial Mom and Female Trumbull, are just hilarious. Do you think that Serial Mom's the funniest of the bunch for you, personally?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one, I guess, has horror theme in it. All of the vacation movies, especially European.
Okay, so basically you're going to lump those 3 films.
Yeah, because
we ignored the Vegas ones.
No, Vegas doesn't exist.
No, that would never
But
happen.
Christmas and European, I'm always tied because I crack up at both of those movies.
Yeah. And you often quote them, right? Yes.
I do quote them.
So that just vacation in one movie. Yep. Vacation condensed together.
Yep. And I would say 16 Candles, just because that movie is funny. Anthony Michael Hall, how can you not, laugh at him being the geek, the Farmer Ted.
And the donger.
And the donger, Long Duck Dong. Just love him. Like, that whole movie that is excellent, and comedy piece, John Hughes.
And your last choice?
Oh, I only got one choice. Can I do two?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do Raising Arizona, Nick Cage.
By the Coen brothers.
Yep. Holly Hunter. Isn't it Holly Hunter?
Yes. John Goodman.
John Goodman. And I was going to say Dan Connor.
I know you was.
All of that movie's excellent. And Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Check a recent one in.
Yep. I love Napoleon. I have to throw a recent one in.
And you quote that one as well.
Yeah.
Quite a bit, don't you?
Yep. It's a great movie.
Comedy.
Okay.
It's hard because, again, like you said, there's a lot to pick from.
I think is there a Carry On film in there?
Yes.
I know.
Of course.
Yeah.
How can I not? Yeah, very difficult again. It's so hard. I mean, to try and pick 5 in 5 alone. I mean, this is, for me, really, I picked the 5 films that kind of make me laugh today. You know, because this sort of things like yours can slightly alternate, although I do come back to the ones I'm going to pick anyway, I suppose, more than any other. And in no particular order either, but the first choice I pick is Aeroplane.
Oh, yeah.
Right, just because I watched it a million times as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was when we kind of all watched together. Mm-hmm. Even my mum liked that one.
Yeah, it's great.
And my dad and my sister, so we watched that one a lot. And I kind of like all that. Jim Abrams, Jerry Zucker kind of humor, like the Naked Gun and
I love
Top Secret and stuff. I kind of like all those films. Does it just make me laugh?
Who's the girl in it again? The woman
in Aeroplane?
Yep.
And Julie Agati?
Yeah, the main.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she's in Just Friends. She plays Ryan Reynolds' mom.
Oh, does she?
And she's hilarious. Yeah, she's just great in it. That's a funny movie too. Love
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Aeroplane is one spot. Jason, damn you for the question. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Okay. Because I love the Python stuff again. That's handed down from my dad. And as much as everyone loves Life of Brian and stuff, I prefer the Holy Grail, and always did. Just completely absurd and ridiculous. Just again makes me generally belly laugh. So I will pick Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Also, like you said, I have to pick a Carry On. Because that's something else I grew up on. My humour all kind of stems from growing up, as you can tell by these answers. And I mean, where'd you start with that? I mean, Carry On, I could do a whole podcast on Carry On, right? Because
you're lumping it like my vacation ones.
I'm half tempted to, because I can come in on. I mean, there's only
after you give me shit for lumping movies together, but you're going to do it. Just pick one.
Carry On, Screaming and Camping.
Okay.
Can I have 2?
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you 2. Screaming and
Carry On,
Camping.
Screaming, Carry On, Camping is the 2 I picked today. Okay. And probably, even though there's other ones I really like, those are probably the 2 I've watched the most.
Yeah.
And I could bore everyone listening with quotes from those, but I won't. So yeah, Carry On would definitely have to be in there. Like you said, it's so hard. Man with Two Brains. Mm-hmm. Again, I absolutely love, and again, I share that particular thing with you over Steve Martin's early films. And as much as I like The Jerk and I do, it's very good. I picked with The Man with Two Brains, seen it more, quote it more. So that's
a good movie.
Another choice for me. And then after that, like you said, there's the John Waters stuff, which I could pick, and something like Ferris Bueller. And my love for Woody Allen as well, especially the early stuff when he's just being slapstick and funny. Bananas, Sleeper. I don't know. For the last choice, I'm going to pick Pink Flamingos by John Waters. Just because it's so ridiculously sleazy, and it appeals to like a sense of humour that I don't let out in public often. Yeah. But as much as it disgusts me, it also makes me laugh.
Word is the word.
Which, oh God, did you have to? I just erased that memory from the podcast we did with this back. So yeah, I'm going to pick John Waters' Pink Flamingos to answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay. Now this is question number 5. So we're flying through these, which is great. This is by the brilliant Ron Quimby. Yeah, I love in this group. Right? I think the guy's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I forgot, and you're going to hate me for this because I forgot to give you this question yesterday.
Fuck me. Are you serious?
You want me, what, now? Do you want me to turn this off? Okay. Right.
If there's a pause, then I have to come back.
I promise everyone it won't be long. 5 minutes.
I said I have the Donna Martin syndrome. Like, I'm stumped at, like, any kind of questions. If you go to take a test or anything, questions, I just go blank. That's me.
Okay, well, we're going to find out
I'm
now,
like Donna Martin.
I'm about to land this one on you.
90210. Right
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah. See, boom, boom, boom. Every episode. You missed like 2 in 25. Okay. This question is from Ron, and it is, who is your favourite new director or new filmmaker?
Oh, okay.
So somebody who's kind of just came alive in the last 6 years.
I like is it Ari Aster?
Yeah.
He does really good stuff.
Yeah.
I really had high hopes for that one guy who did The Mother of Tears.
Argento.
Not Mother of Tears. What's that movie? See, I'm so bad. The one that did piercing, and he's about to do.
Oh,
he
the
did
eyes
The
of
Grudge.
the eyes of my mother.
The eyes of my mother. See, it's the same fucking thing. It's just fucking backwards, motherfucker. Yeah, it's just like I had high hopes for
definitely not
him.
an episode for your kids.
No, but see, I really liked his first movie. His second movie sucked.
I know he's doing a remake or something, isn't
And
he?
now he's doing the remake of The Grudge, and Sam Raimi is like, he's like a co-producer or something.
He's executive producer, isn't he?
Yeah.
And of course, that's something that's already been remade, which Sam Raimi had.
Many
this
times.
is the answer to your question earlier on. This is a remake of a remake.
I know, we don't need that. We don't need that shit. I haven't seen it. And
you don't want to see it.
I don't think I want to see it because I like the original.
Yeah.
And the remake was, it was okay. Is that the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? Yeah, it was okay, but nothing beats the original. But I think hopefully he does something else, and I would decide if I like him. Do you remember his name? Nicholas something?
I can't. I'm really sorry. I can't.
Nicholas. I don't know,
He's
but
a young lad, isn't he?
not the eyes of your mother. Is it the eyes of your mother?
Yes, eyes of your mother. Yeah.
Okay, did I get that right?
This time, yeah.
Okay. What did I say the first time?
Mother of Tears, which is now
I
Dario
don't think I said that.
Go back and check it out. Okay. To answer that question for myself, and although you've answered it for me, I would pick Peter Strickland.
I know, I was thinking him too. I like him. He's very young.
And I've followed him right from the beginning, so I'm not going to jump in and say...
Let's listen to you.
Yeah, let's do it, because that would be really good. No, but that I've said to you before. Here. Yeah, of course. But I did mention to you before, didn't I?
Yeah.
So I told you the whole background.
Yeah, he does like Peter Strickland.
And followed him right from
Catalin
he's
Varga.
Very
good. I like his stuff. There's still
and he's
a couple
getting
things
better.
I
That's the good
seen.
thing. He's actually getting better.
Yeah, I like his style.
Yeah. So
he has good vision.
Hopefully that answers your question, Ron. And also, hopefully you enjoyed the rantings of Hope Wade. Because personally, I think that was the best question so far. Just because people get to hear the rantings of Hope Wade, which are just the best.
One day there's going to be like I'm going to piece them all
together.
I want
a montage of your clips, of you ranting, because it's so good.
Oh.
It's too good.
That would just be fucking shit, and that's
dear God. Yeah. Okay, so the next question.
Give it to me.
What, the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
10-minute break. Another 10-minute break.
It might be longer this time. This is too many times already. Okay, this is from Joe Morrison.
Yep.
And this is what are your top... It's funny, it's going to get very horror related now. But this one is, what is your top 3 horror movies for both of us? So what's your top 3? Just the best 3 for you, personally.
Okay, top 3 would be Sleepaway Camp.
Top?
Yeah.
In order or just 3?
I don't know, I'm just picking 3. Okay. Sleepaway Camp, Booyah Omega, and which is Beyond the Darkness, but it's a Joe D'Amato film, and Halloween.
Yeah.
I would have to go Halloween. And you know what's funny is because...
2018?
Fuck, no. Are you kidding me?
No.
Okay. And I would have to say Halloween, and it's like I was saying, Jason is my favorite. I love campy horrors. I love anything to do with a camp outside, kids getting killed, having sex, doing drugs, all that good stuff, and getting killed. And Jason is...
Just like Growing Up.
Yeah, it reminds me of Growing Up. And Jason is just my favorite, like, I would say, franchise character. But Halloween is like one of the best movies. I think that, because they both freaked me out as a kid, Halloween and the first Friday the 13th. But I would have to go Halloween just because it has every good element in it, and the babysitters, and it's just good. I like it.
Another interesting fact, because me and you have spoken over the last couple of years in depth, especially about horror films and stuff, and it's quite funny because that would be your top 3 the first time I ever met you, and then to this day it's your top 3 again. It's almost like which is great, which means you absolutely love those movies. I mean, do you ever see anything ever challenging that top 3?
I don't think so, just because maybe they had like at that time that I saw them, it struck like something. Do you know what I mean? Like it made me enjoy the genre even more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you see something and it's just like, whoa, like that's just gonna change my everything forever.
Yeah.
Like when I go rent movies, when I go watch something, it's always gonna refer back to something like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Sleepaway Camp, I remember I picked that up for $2 at a video store on VHS, and I was just blown away by it. You know, it's like one of those movies and you share it with all your friends and they're like, oh my God. And it changed them too, the way they saw it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think movies like that is especially, you know, and I wasn't that young when I saw Bowie Omega. Like, you know, I was maybe a teenager too. And that was just an Italian horror that I just fell in love with. So I don't know. I don't know. I just love them.
And they will remain.
They will probably remain in my top 3 forever.
That's good.
Because I just have deep love for them.
Okay, top 3 horror films for me. You know, again, love the genre as much as you, and probably I want to list about 50. Which I hate. Of course, I hate narrowing it down to 3.
I hate even 10. Like that freaks me out. I can't do it.
Yeah, because I always ask you that, don't I? So to answer Joe's question, if to pick my top 3 this very moment, and again, it doesn't change that much. Number 1 would be The Exorcist, which, you know, I could spend all day explaining, but I won't. So the top 3 for me would be The Exorcist, The Innocents by Jack Clayton from 1961, which I absolutely adore. And no, I would pick Don't Look Now, but I always see it as such a bigger movie than just a horror movie, so I'm not going to pick it only for that reason. If I've got to pick a top 3, then it will be The Exorcist, Don't Look Now, and The Innocents. But because I don't want to lump Don't Look Now in with that, I will pick The Exorcist, The Innocents. And for me, for personal reasons as well, Blood on Satan's Claw. Just because sometimes certain films just need a bit more pushing out there, I think. And I'm just love that movie, and I've seen it very young, and it kind of really, that was one that made a mark on me when I was really young. So I'm going to pick that. But like you said, I mean, you could sit here and there and say, oh, what about I want to pick Psychomania, I want to pick The Brood, I want to pick whatever. But okay, so to answer that question, The Exorcist, The Innocents, and for today, Blood on Satan's Claw.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, next question is from our very own rock star, Dave Monsieur.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah.
He's the man.
Yeah. And he chimed in with most iconic monster. Who is your most iconic monster?
Godzilla. And I know he agrees with me. So, I mean, that's one that I grew up on. I used to go see the movies all the time. My mom used to take me to see Godzilla movies.
There's literally hundreds of sequels to it, isn't there?
Yeah, I love it.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I've only ever seen about 2 or 3 of them.
And I'd watch every one of them.
There was even a cartoon of it I remember watching when I was growing up. So, yeah, I suppose iconic answers that question, the fact they made a cartoon out of it.
Yeah, I think him, Godzilla and Frankenstein are probably the most...
Yeah, because, I mean, again, that was something else we kind of discussed on that question, is what defines a monster?
Yeah, because some say Dracula would be, but I don't see him as a monster. I don't know why. I just don't see him as a monster.
Yeah. It's a big question. I mean, where do you start to answer it? In terms of, I mean, to scale things down, and I've got to do the classic cliche, but if you're going to go for Godzilla, then I have to do King Kong.
Of course.
And I'm talking about the 1933 version, not that horrible, bloated piece of shit CGI remake by Peter Jackson, which I fucking loathe with
the
passion.
77?
No, I
like that one.
No, that one's fun.
Was it 77?
There's 76.
76.
John Gilliman, the one with Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange, which is fun.
That's my favorite.
I'm on about that horrible 3-hour Peter Jackson piece of shit that I hate. But the 33 version is boss. It's the best. So most iconic monster. Basically, we're having our very own Godzilla versus King Kong moment here. And
that's us.
And we'll go with that.
Godzilla's gonna win.
As an answer. Okay. No. On to the next question. Okay. Then this is a classic Andy Wyatt kind of question.
No.
Now, I'm sure he could have asked us the sensible question, but of course he wanted to push our buttons and take the piss. And so therefore it's a split question. One for you, one for me. And to me it's the toughest question ever, right? Because he's asked me what are your top 5 Blumhouse movies?
Oh, come on, that's easy.
I can't even think of fucking one I like for that.
Yes, you do.
So while I mull on...
Isn't Sinister Blumhouse?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. While I mull on that question, he's also chucked one out for you as well and give you your most hated subgenre of horror by asking for your top 5 zombie movies.
You know what's funny is as I'm going through them, maybe I don't hate it as much because I did pick. Maybe Andy brought something out in me, made me think about it. I think I hate the newer versions of zombies. I don't like the fast, like, running.
The ones that run.
I hate that shit. No, they're brain dead. They don't need to run. They don't run. They need to do the zombie
aren't
dance.
they genetically modified now or something? Aren't they kind of...
Oh, fuck me. I don't know. Well, that's how they were, too, in the one I listed, Death Warmed Up.
Yeah, there was a film by Umberto Lenzi called Nightmare City that came out in 1918. That's the first kind of zombies that run everywhere, okay? So it's no good thinking that Danny Boyle come up with this with 28 Days Later because it was already done years before. But most people will give that credit to Danny Boyle for that movie.
And Death Warmed Up, they were kind of running.
Yeah, which
like
still
that.
doesn't predate Umberto Lenzi's movie, but is the low budget one.
It was before 20...
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. The one from New Zealand made in 84.
Yeah.
So what are your 5?
Yeah. Well, I'll say that one is one of them.
Death Warmed Up.
Yeah, it's a great movie. If nobody's ever seen it, you should see it. It's a great mutant zombies, would you call them? I don't know. They're genetically modified into zombies. Like,
your guess is as good as mine, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll go with that. Let's see. Night of the Comet, of course.
Okay.
Night of the Comet's one of my favorites movies ever. And I even made your son watch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are like, no. I'm like, yeah, you watch it. And he loved it. And how can you not love it? You know what I mean?
Good old Gene. Enjoyed that one.
He did love it. Dawn of the Dead, of course, because...
George Romero's 78 original.
Oh, yeah, not the remake or anything. Wasn't that one had like some crazy zombie baby in it?
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead, mall, zombies, that's all you need. There you go, right there.
Okay, 2 more.
Zombie Nightmare, it has to be one of the best.
This is a movie that is often called one of the worst movies ever made from the late 80s, which, incidentally, for anyone listening, is the first film that we watched together.
Oh, we did.
So is that why? Is that why? Because it reminds you of me?
No, because I like...
Okay. No special place in your heart for that.
No, because I fell in love with Thor that day.
Oh, dear God.
He does Rock and Roll Nightmare, and he does Zombie Nightmare.
Yeah, and he enters into Zombie Nightmare, the
badass.
film you're speaking of. He enters in with 2 baseball bats, one swinging in his hand, one swinging in his pants, which Hope was very quick to notice.
I was like, look at that bulge in his pants. But he likes to show off his body too, because remember in Rock and Roll Nightmare, it's like, fuck the girl, like, we won't show boobs and tits, we'll just show my ass.
Get a shot of me in the shower. Yeah, fantastic.
We'll show my muscles and my ass, and that's all you need. But Zombie Nightmare, great film.
Okay.
And
last bit.
Adam West, isn't it?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, the
Tia
best
Carrere.
Batman. The best Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
West is best.
I'll have to go with White Zombie, the
1932.
1932. Yeah.
Bela Lugosi movie.
Yeah, it has to. I don't know, just because that's a classic.
Yeah.
No.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. It
and
just
that's the hypnotic
me.
zombies as well, is it? Isn't the kind of dead rising from the ground? This is old school.
Yeah.
Hypnosis on that high TD kind of culture and stuff.
Yeah.
That voodoo culture. Then. Yeah.
I love the voodoo culture.
Yeah. And Bela Lugosi has some killer eyebrows in that as well, if I remember correctly.
Oh, he'd be hip now. Like, everybody has killer eyebrows.
And who doesn't love Bela Lugosi?
Yeah, it's a great one. And I'll throw in Pontypool was a good one. So, I don't know, Andy, maybe you're just making me think I like zombie movies. Because then there's, like, City of the Living Dead. And, there's just so many good ones. But
yeah.
I'll clarify, I don't like the new zombie.
Okay, so one little question from me before we finished out. So, you don't like The Walking Dead?
I used to, and then it got shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, controversial.
Yeah. Yeah, it just turned to shit, I think, after season 4 or something, and I just never looked back, so.
Okay, not one to dodge a question, so I will answer the Blue Maze question.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I don't dodge questions, okay? So he's asking me
What
to
are you
pick...
saying? I'm dodging questions?
No,
You're
just
pointing that pin at me like I'm doing something wrong here.
That ain't my pen. Okay, so basically, no, that was my bat. Thor. Okay, so I'm going to pick 5 movies that Blumhouse had a hand in, Jason Blum's company had a hand in producing, which I either kind of tolerate or I don't mind. Whiplash, because basically Blumhouse or Jason Blum helped finance the movie. Okay.
That was too much drum for me. I didn't like.
Yeah, but standing drum.
Oh, it's too much. Can give me a headache.
Yeah. Okay. You stick to Thor's ass in the shower. I'll go with the drumming. Okay. So I'll pick Whiplash. Sinister's okay. I can sit through it. Jesus, this is struggling with this.
You know it's good. It's a good one.
It's okay. Ethan Hawke completely saved it.
Yeah.
The Gift, which again was watchable, with Joel Edgerton and Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah. That was the Blumhouse. I didn't know that.
So I was going through this list of.
That's okay.
That's what I found myself doing. I was going through this list because everyone knows fucking Annabelle, The Conjuring, all that shit. I fucking despise that with a passion, which Andy White knows, and that's why he checked the question at me.
I wish they would have named that different though.
Okay.
That movie.
Right. Well, I started digging through the movies though. Mm-hmm. Right. That were there, so I have to work my way through this list to find 5 I could pull out. So I'll pull Whiplash out. I'll pull The Gift out. I'll pull Sinister out. Mm-hmm. Get Out. I'll pick. By Jordan Peele, which unlike a lot of people, I didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. I didn't think it was the best thing ever, and I'm not talking about Oscars and all the rest of it, but I don't think it was as bad as everyone else thought it was yet. Even though it was just a riff on Ira Levine's movies and Stepford Wives in particular. But again, I didn't mind it. I've seen a hell of a lot worse. And weirdly, Lords of Salem, which is also...
Oh, that's a Blumhouse?
Blumhouse had a hand in producing it, yeah.
Oh, well, so I like that one. That's the only zombie movie that I like, Rob Zombie.
Oh, because I was going to say it wasn't in your top 5 zombie movies. Okay, so to answer your question, I hope that does it.
I know, I'm surprised they didn't ask about the Rob Zombie or Tarantino.
No one checked that question in.
You snooze, you lose.
Shame, absolutely. Okay, so we're moving into the last set of questions now.
Okay.
3 or 4 more to go now. The pressure.
Okay.
The pressure. Okay, this is of David McCallion then, who I'm pretty sure is the biggest fan of our show.
Yeah.
And so he's my favourite. Okay, so that's why I'm saving all his questions.
Oh, is he your favourite child?
Yeah, I'm saving all his questions to the end.
Okay. So you didn't have a favourite.
Well, I do.
Okay.
Thanks, David. And basically, his question for both of us is, what is your who are your favourite director, regardless of genre, so not just horror or maybe all horror, dependent personal choice. Who is your favourite directors of all time?
I had to look at my list. I think mine is mostly
it's okay.
A horror.
It's okay.
Wait, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6.
Oh, okay, go on then.
I would like. I love. So I'm picking this on movies that I would watch everything that they do,
or at least give it a look. Yeah.
And I mostly like everything that they put out. I like their films, and I'm not really ever hardly disappointed by them. John Waters, of course, is my number 1.
Yeah,
love him best. I would go Joe D'Amato,
the Italian sleazemeister.
The Italian sleaze. He's so sleazy. I mean, what's that nun movie that I love so much? Comments in
beyond the convict walls, or Images Beyond the Convict Wall.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Nunsploitation.
Oh. Yeah, just lots of dirtiness in that one. But, like I said, he does Bowie Omega and just so many different films.
Absurd.
Emmanuel's Revenge.
Yeah,
really good.
As well.
Yeah, good movies. John Hughes.
Of course.
I have to. He's just the king of all that. He's like my youth. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
growing up, he was just everything that I love. Stuart Gordon.
Yeah.
I love everything that he does, From Beyond, Castle Freak, Dolls.
Reanimator.
I didn't Reanimator. I didn't even mind that one that we watched recently,
King of the
Ants. That was decent,
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And then I have 2 more. Lucio Fulci. I love his stuff. House by the Cemetery.
Lucio Fulci,
Yeah. Did I say it wrong?
No.
Always.
No. Bags by the Cemetery, New York Ripper.
Yeah. City of the Living Dead, yeah.
Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He does
all good stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So a mixture of a good little mix.
Del Tenney, I'll have to say. I'll just have to put him in just because he does good movies.
You like his 60s low-budget B movie.
60s low-budget.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
If only there was more of it.
I know. He needed more.
He
only did a group of little movies, but...
3 or 4 movies.
I love every movie that he did.
Yeah. Which is answering the question, so yeah.
Okay, who's
you happy with those choices?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Again, like you, want to pick about 20,000.
I know, because you're all about directors.
Yeah, and this is like my main obsession. So this is like my favourite question at the lot. So thanks, David, for setting me up for that.
He's obsessed with directors.
But I'll try and pick 6 to match Hope's 6.
Oh, okay.
And of course, my number one choice is the very brilliant and very English Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay, yeah.
Massive fan. It's like almost like a mastermind subject for me. There's like nothing I don't know about Hitchcock, and I'll argue any debate on Alfred Hitchcock all day long, right?
I know.
Which Hope Boston has to tolerate my rantings.
I remember when I showed you my pop-up book. I have a Hitchcock pop-up book, and you were giving me shit about it. Are you really a Hitchcock fan?
Yeah. If you want to see my inner snob, you have to just bring up Hitchcock and
shut up and just enjoy it.
Accept it. Okay. My second choice. Okay, so Hitchcock's top. I'm just going to say this now. Hitchcock is number one. Hitchcock is my main man. It's my favourite director. And for reasons I could go on all day about, which I won't. After that, they're in no order now, okay? They're kind of all jumbled around now. So my second choice then in this list is Nicholas Roeg. Again, the English director. Director of photography. Also, should add, because he worked on a whole string of really, really good movies for really good directors. Absolutely adore Nicholas Roeg, who passed away last year. And for a very slim filmography, there's probably about 12 films that he directed, and that's all there is. But I just love every single one of them, and for different reasons. And a couple of them are like among my favourite films of all time. So he's easily a choice. My third choice, again, English, is Michael Powell, who I absolutely adore. Sort of post-war cinema, the movies that he made with a Hungarian guy called Emmerich Pressenberger, and together they were known, they came up with their own studio called The Archers, and they made a series of movies during the 40s that are like nothing in British cinema. They're the most singular voice in British cinema, which I absolutely adore, and I could go on and on about British cinema of the 40s and 50s and 60s. So Michael Powell, I'd love to do a whole spiel on that, but I know I'd bore people with my chronic. I'm sure my love for him. Absolutely adore the guy. And it's funny because people like Nicholas Roeg then, and people like Ken Russell, who I also could have picked, who's also English. I've just got a real taste for certain directors. Peter Greenaway. They're all very influenced. Derek Jarman. They're all really...
Is this on your list? Or are you just throwing them out there? Them out. Of course.
Are all very influenced by Michael Powell. I just can't stress my love for Michael Powell. Okay.
Just like if I was to mention David Lynch and you go on about directors.
Yeah, they were there before him, but he seems to take all the credit, sadly. Okay, so choice 4, David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
So I'm actually getting nearer to you now. We're coming overseas now. We're coming, even though he's Canadian. Is just a singular voice in cinema in general, and not just horror, because I know we moved away from that kind of thing. Yet the films that he made that weren't part of the genre almost felt like they were part of the genre. Just a great singular voice, and possibly one of the last great directors, I think, of modern cinema. Though it's starting to look now that he maybe have made his last film and maybe early retirement or something for Cronenberg now. So from the stuff that I read now, which is really, really sad to me, because I still think that the films that he's pushed out in the last 10 years are among his best. So he's still got so much more to tell for me. So yes, David Cronenberg. And then sort of 5th and 6th choice, my last 2 I'll pick here, if I could sit and spiel these directors all day. Stanley Kubrick, who I absolutely love, just because for me personally, from 1957, from 56 then The Killing and Paths of Glory, from there right up to Eyes Wide Shut, which I know a lot of people don't like, but there's not a film in there that I don't at least like or love. Again, it's a small body of work. I mean, it's like 12 movies, again, so not many. And all his best work was done in England, even though he's an American. He came over here and just the most amazing movies. And then my last choice, and I have to pick him because he was my favourite director growing up when I was real little, other than Hitchcock, obviously, is Brian De Palma, who I absolutely adore. Yeah. Although to a lot of people, he's just a Hitchcock copycat. But because I'm such a Hitchcock fan, I don't quite see it like that. I think he had his own vision and own story to tell, and I could sit all day and discuss why I think De Palma and Hitchcock are completely different. So, I just love him, really, and I haven't got the time to even go on about why I love him so much. but its black humor is a major plus point. Okay, so yeah, Brian De Palma, Kubrick, Cronenberg, Michael Powell, Nicholas Roeg, and Alfred Hitchcock to answer that question. But I want to pick 100 more for my own reasons.
I know you do. It's killing you right now. I can see it. You should see in his eyes. His eyes are real big, like he's jonesing or something.
I'm condensing. Okay, do you want to just answer this really silly question by Richard Upton? Quick question from Richard Upton. What's worse, Sleepaway Camp or Season of the Witch?
There is no worse in those two.
Okay. What about Priscilla asked the great question. What is the best Twilight movie?
Never seen them.
To answer Priscilla, I'm going to pick Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yeah. Twilight Zone.
And to finish off with these two questions, again by the great David Michelinie, which I'm going to nominate him for an Oscar.
David the Great.
I'm going to nominate him for an Oscar because it's so good. The questions are so good. Okay, it's one for you, one for me, and this is the last one of the episode.
Okay.
This is, what are your top 10 1980s horror films?
Oh, that's so my genre, isn't it? 80s. And it's funny because I was going through it and I'm like, oh, well, that one, you're like, no, that's 70s. That's 70s. Oh, yeah. Oh, boo, I can't put the 70s. Which 70s is really good.
Yeah, horror. You could do your own 10 for that as well. Yeah.
70s and 80s is probably my favorite genres of horror. I'll have to go Season of the Witch.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Just a great sequel, I guess, would you call it?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I think it's his own movie, really.
It is his own movie, but it's part of the Halloween
part of the franchise. Unfortunately.
Sleepaway Camp, I'm putting in 1 and 2.
As a joint one or two separate
I'm putting in as joint just because. But they are 2 separate movies.
Yeah.
They're totally different. And then they have 2 different Angelas. And, Felissa Rose is the first one. Pamela Springsteen, who is Bruce Springsteen's sister, is the second one. And they're so different. But I remember one summer I watched part 2 every fucking weekend. That whole summer I watched it, part 2, and so I can quote that movie like nothing else. So
which you do.
Yep. And I know what's coming up, and it's just one of my favorite all-time movies with the first. And the first, just always has that special place too. So I'll go Sleepaway Camp 1 and 2. My Bloody Valentine, the 80? 81. That just is my childhood right there, because that was one of the first slasher movies. Would you call it a slasher movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's one of the first that I fell in love with when I was younger, besides Halloween. And Friday the 13th. The Boogeyman, 1980.
Yeah.
Love it. That movie's so great. It just has everything in it that I love.
Yeah, you want to do a podcast dedicated to that one film.
Yeah, it has a great score.
Here she goes.
Yeah. It has, isn't it, is it a brother and sister that, aren't they really brother and sister that play in it?
Yes, they are.
And then the one, her last name's Love, isn't it? And
she's married to the director.
And God, the kills are so funny. Like, they're great. There's the haunted mirror, and you don't know if she's possessed or what's going on. And it's just an excellent film. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it. Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Yeah, you were going to put a Friday movie in here, wasn't you?
Oh, I have to. And Part 3.
And everyone knows your love for 3.
Yeah, 3D.
Porno theme tune. 3D.
Porno theme.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just excellent. Love that movie. From Beyond, Stuart Gordon.
Stuart Gordon, of course.
That's one of my favorite. The duo of Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs. Just those two, I think, work so well together. That and Castle Freak.
Because they're your version of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, aren't they?
Are you kidding me? Are you comparing?
No, I'm totally serious. Like, as most people go, I love those movies that Michael Douglas made with Kathleen Turner. Oh, I love those movies that Tom Hanks made with Meg Ryan. Oh, but for you, it's I love those movies that Jeffrey Combs made with Barbara Crampton.
Yeah, because they did Reanimator, they did From Beyond, they did Castle Freak, and what's that one that mini?
Yeah, because it wasn't finished in Lost, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
the something Abbott.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
The Evil Abbott. The Evil Abbott. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you are completely. It was an unreleased Empire movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good. I think they're just the perfect duo. I love them.
Okay, 4 more.
I'll have to go Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. I was torn between this and Dream Warriors because I think Dream Warriors have really good effects, but it's a little bit more campier, where the first one is just genuinely creepy. It freaked me out as a kid, like when I watched it. So I think I would have to go with that one because it is
still the best, isn't it?
It is always the best. I'll have to go...
Yeah, you could have put Dream Warriors in your favourite sequels earlier on in the questions when we were picking favourite sequels ever made.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Because it is a really good sequel.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, see, but I like part 4 too. Remember I said I'm torn because I like the Dream Master.
Did you just set me up for why not Freddy's Revenge?
I know.
Yeah,
well,
thanks so.
No, I know why it's not in there because it sucks.
Close your ears, people. Okay, 3 more choices.
House by the Cemetery.
Oh, so Lucio Fulci is represented.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Is that your favourite of his movies?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
I think so. But then New York Ripper, because I think I was torn between those two the other night, because New York Ripper, quack quack, it's such a good movie, but it's
quack. Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah,
quack quack. The killer, I love him. So I would say those two, but I do have a fondness of the House by the Cemetery. Maniac.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Have to.
Joe Spinell's pet project.
Love
from
him.
1980.
Yeah, and he's just genuinely creepy to look at.
Oh, he's great in it. He's a great actor anyway.
Yeah.
In
anything he does. Anything he does.
In anything. Rocky, Taxi Driver, everything.
Yeah, because we watched him recently in something. And I was like,
yeah, because he always turns out, Joe Spinell, yeah. Fantastic. What's your feelings on the remake, very briefly? As we run out of time there.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to mention anything that.
No.
Oh, I do have New York Ripper on my list. Oh. There you go.
Oh, so that's the 10?
Nope, Dolls.
Oh, okay. You got me all excited.
Well, yeah, I'm lumping New York Ripper in House by the Cemetery.
It's a lot of doubles.
Yeah, you know what? It's a double bill today, okay? Those would be my double bills to see.
Okay. To add to the 2 coffees that you already
had.
And
Dolls, is just cheesy fun. I love anything with creepy dolls and mannequins, obviously.
And it's Stuart Gordon.
Yep, and it's Stuart Gordon. So there you go. Those are my 10.
Good, yeah.
They'll probably change.
But for today, and to answer that question,
yeah,
that's the 10 you've picked.
1080s.
Good. It's a good list.
Plus the double bill. There's a couple double bills.
Bills, yeah, just to squeeze a few more. Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, he didn't ask me that question. He asked me for my 10 favourite Hammer movies.
Oh, your Hammer movies.
Yeah. David was playing fair. He gave Hope a question that she wanted to answer, which would have been anything horror related would have been a good one for Hope. And then he asked me my 10 favourite Hammer movies.
Oh, okay.
Which is my final question of the day. So, I mean, I'll try and get through it as quick as I can for you.
Okay.
And again, it's a difficult one for me because you know how much I love the whole everything Hammer related to do with that studio. It's another Alfred Hitchcock for me. I'll go on and on and on about it. But just to answer the question, my 10 personal favourite movies made by Hammer would obviously be the horror stuff they did, because anyone knows Hammer is a bigger studio now. They made a lot of different movies, but it's most famous now for the horror movies that it made between 56 and 76. So the 10 I pick in absolutely no order whatsoever. Of course, they made a series of Frankenstein movies. So to just pull one out of there, I personally pick Frankenstein Created Woman, which I love. It would either have been that or Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Those are my 2 favourites from the whole Frankenstein franchise. But Frankenstein Created Woman is because I think it asks a lot more questions than the obvious, and it stands out from the others for reasons that it would take me forever to explain here, but so that's my first choice. Second choice, obviously, again, they're famous for a series of Dracula movies that they made, so pour one out of the 7 that they made of those. And as much as I love Taste the Blood of Dracula, and I also really, really love Dracula Has Risen from His Grave, I'll pick the first one, the original one, which is Dracula, or in America is known as Horror of Dracula, from 1958. So that's the one that represents Dracula for me in this series of movies. And of course it's Cushing and Lee together as well, so it's perfect. Again, it's Cushing and Lee for my third choice, which is their version of Arthur Conan Doyle's Enter the Baskervilles, with Peter Cushing as Sherlock Holmes. Fantastically shot movie by Terence Fisher. Absolutely adore it. And it was one, again, because my love for Hammer, as I pointed out in podcasts in the past, it came from my, the experience of watching these films with my dad, and that was one I remember really vividly watching with my dad and enjoying. So Hound of the Baskervilles is my third choice. My fourth choice, again, is another one I really remember watching at a young age, which is Curse of the Werewolf, with Oliver Reed. And Oliver Reed made a series of films for Hammer. These are damned paranoiac, which I like. I like most of the ones that he did for Hammer, but this is the one where he gets like a starring role. It's the only werewolf movie that Hammer made, unfortunately. I'm quite sad about it, but so it's my fourth choice. Fifth choice would be The Gorgon. Once again, Cushing and Lee together. Anything that when them two were together, it was just like, it's so good. And the photography on that one, I think, is one of the best of the whole series. Some of the shots in it are like almost gothic fairy tale poetry. They're just so good. My fifth choice would... It's just too difficult. Quatermass in the Pit, because again they made a series of Quatermass movies, this being the last one from 1967, and this one also had like a lot of influence on John Carpenter as well, which I think I've explained in previous podcasts a lot, including the opening credits, which Halloween ripped off. It's fantastic, by the way. Get the slow dig in as well.
It's like haunts you every time you have to mention that.
Of course. It's a great movie. So yeah, that's my fifth choice. Oh god, this is so hard. At 6, I'll pick The Mummy. The first of them, because they made like 4 Mummy movies. But the weird thing is, these are the most almost like disliked, but the least liked, I should say, of the Hammer movies. But I really like that series of Mummy movies. The first one's done by Terence Fisher from 1959, and again you have Cushing and Lee together, and it's the only Mummy movie that they're in, which is kind of sad. But the Shroud of the Mummy is also really fun, made a couple of years later. But the first one with Cushing and Lee again, it's just such a perfect pairing, and love that one. Which leaves me with 4 more. I like the sort of stuff that they did where they were thinking outside the box. So I'll pick a few of those when it was kind of, they were starting to face competition from America by the late 68, 69. It was going to fade, and into the 70s everyone says Hammer was on his last legs, but for me personally it made some of his more inventive movies during that period. One being my 7th choice is Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which I absolutely adore.
It's a funny name.
It's just so good. And the cast of Martin Bestwick and Ralph Bates playing brother and sister is absolutely brilliant, and that movie completely works because they look alike. It's just such a good movie. Hands of the Ripper, another one from that same sort of 1971-72 period. Again, because it crosses over the Birkenhair, Grey Robin team and Jack the Ripper. And it's just a real... Hammer really thinking outside the box, I think, with these movies. They were thinking, how can we make these movies a little bit more interesting and spruce up old storylines, which I think they did brilliantly with that. And then the last 2 choices, even though I want to pick so much more, The Vampire Lovers, because I think when it came to vampire movies, nobody can beat Hammer. It's just the one thing that they always did absolutely right, because the sets were just, they were made for like no money, yet those sets looked $1 million. And of course it stars Ingrid Pitt, who's the queen of Hammer, so it gives her a most iconic role, and Peter Cushing's in it, and it's just full of greatness that I can go on about all day, which again I won't. And then for the last choice, it's a toss-up between The Reptile, which I really like, and Vampire Circus. But I'll pick The Reptile just because it's not a vampire movie.
Okay.
And it was directed by John Gillen, who also did Plague of the Zombies, which I really like, by Hammer as well. So yeah, The Reptile, which I probably prefer to Plague of the Zombies. Jacqueline Pierce is the kind of snake woman, and you got the sweet scenes out on the moors and stuff, and the dry ice flowing. It's just classic Hammer. So, as to answer that question, those are my 10 favourite Hammer movies. Okay, well, that pretty much answers the questions that we were given. It's been fun. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. And thanks for everyone who participated and wanted to know what our favorite stuff was.
And shame to the ones that didn't ask any questions. I'm joking, but just, feel free to ask us questions. Keep asking questions, because obviously it keeps the brain going.
Yeah. And I like when people, maybe we should start asking questions, doing a top 10. People give us their top 10 favorite movies start asking and them back. Stuff. Because I like sharing. I think you have a big knowledge of movies, and I think...
well, thank you, Miss Wade.
Movies and music, I'll stress, because every time I need to know anything, I'll ask you, and you're like, oh, yeah. And you'll spew it out and tell me if you hate it and love it and everything else about it. But yeah, it was fun, and we'll have to do it again on the music. Next.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, yeah. So we'll do a music ask the questions in 25 shows time.
Yeah,
maybe less than that. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe less.
Okay. So, as of episode 25, this is Ian James saying goodbye.
And this is Hope saying goodbye.
Goodbye.